welcome to Eddie V Unplugged, and today I wanted to talk to you about the most important card to have in your wallet. This card is a lifesaver, and I don't know what kind. Credit cards are great to have in your wallet. Discount cards are great to have in your wallet, but one of the most important cards to have in your wallet, I would have to say, is your AAA card, right here. I got my finger over my number so nobody could take my number. And I'll give you a little story. I had a work car. It's a 2012 Nissan Altima. I was driving it. I was driving it locally to work, in the work that I do. But I had got a different job, in the trade that I am. But it was a haul. It was maybe 60 miles there and 60 miles back, 120 miles a day. And the thing about that car, I didn't do the maintenance on it like I should have. I never checked the transmission fluid. So, but then again, those transmissions on Nissans are very famously, they go wrong, they go bad a lot of times. That's one of their biggest problems. If you buy a Nissan, your transmission might go bad on you because it's a CVT transmission, and CVTs, they're better now, but back in a while back, they were a big problem for a lot of people. So a lot of those cars went down with bad transmissions. And to put a new transmission in, that's going to cost you maybe from $5,000 to $7,000, depending on where you're going to go. So I literally drove all the way to Itasca, and I felt the car kind of jerk back and forth. And I was driving home, and I'm telling you, on the 290 West, going into Chicago, it is like bumper to bumper traffic, and I didn't think nothing of it. But when I came up onto I-94, I started feeling like my traction was really off, but it wasn't. It was the transmission giving me problems. So I drove that thing for another 5 miles, and I finally got off on 130th Street on the southeast side of Chicago, and on that street there, I got to the stoplight, and that's a real fast street. And when the light turned, my car wouldn't go anymore. So I was like really upset. I was like, oh my gosh, I need a tow. I'm stuck here, and I didn't know who to call. So I did call my friend. He sent me a tow truck. I paid the guy $150, and I appreciated the tow. I guarantee you, when your car goes down, it's a stressful situation. You're in traffic. Who knows? Maybe you got to go to the washroom and you're stuck in the middle of the road, Not good. It makes for a bad day, a real bad day. So from that day forward, I was I looked at myself and I said, you know what, dude? You need to have a backup service. You need to have your own tow truck service. And the thing is that I ended up looking into AAA, and with AAA, you get 3 tows within the year. So if your car breaks down, you can call them up, and they'll come and pick you up and give you a tow to where you need to go. And the thing about that is, them 3 tows alone would probably cost you $150 a shot. So we're looking at $450, $500, depending on where you're going, depending on what time of night. But with the AAA membership card, you basically pay a little bit over $100, or right around $100, and you have 3 tows right at your disposal. Invaluable. And I'll tell you right now, I've used that card 2 times this year for two separate tows. And I'll tell you how it went down. After I lost that car, I ended, since I did get the membership and that car went down, I thought, well, look, I want to buy a new car, but I wanted to save a little money before I go into a dealership and buy a new car. So I went on the cheap. I said, well, let me buy a used car. A used car will get me through. I'll be able to save enough money to buy a brand new car, because I don't like paying a lot of finance charges. I'd rather have the money in hand, buy the car. And if it takes me a year and a half to save the money to buy a car, I'll do that. But so I bought this Toyota Avalon, nice car, drove really good. And I'll tell you right now, I bought it off Facebook, and it turned out I ended up having it died out. The starter, the automatic starter, it was a push to start. You put your foot on the brake, and it's supposed to start. Well, that went out on that car, and I got stuck. I said I had the AAA in my pocket. I called them up. They took the car to the dealer, and it was like a $400 repair. But then the dealer guy told me, look, man, that car's got issues underneath. Your suspension's all whacked. It's almost, well, they wanted to charge. They said it would cost me about $2,500 to get it fixed. And then this additional issue, which wasn't an issue yet, but it presented itself like it was gonna be an issue. So the thing is that I said, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna junk the car. I had a loss on that car. I bought the car for $3,000. Then I ended up putting that extra $800, or just in other stuff like title and plates, and then the starter. And the thing is, I wasn't going to sell it to somebody else and give them a headache. So I said, I'm just going to junk the car. In good conscience, I couldn't sell. That's just a crappy move, is selling somebody a bullshit car like that. So I says, I'm going to take the loss. I'm going to junk that car. So I got $300 out the car. And then I said, well, I got to get another car. So my friend was buying a new vehicle, and he sold me his Dodge Avenger, 2008 Dodge Avenger. It's not a pretty car, but it runs, and I'm grateful for that. But on the other hand, getting back to AAA, I collect jukeboxes. You see the jukeboxes in the back? It's that one right there. I ended up buying it and getting it from Toledo, Ohio. So again, I says, my dad has a minivan. I didn't know his minivan was as terrible as it was. So I said, I'm going to ask him to borrow his minivan. And that way I can go to Toledo, pick up that jukebox, drive it back, and call it a day. So I ended up picking up my father's minivan. And I look at the mileage on that thing. That thing had like 280,000 miles on there. And when you cranked it up, it was like... I thought for a second, man, should I be doing this? Should I be taking this car all the way to Toledo, Ohio from Porter, Indiana, by Portage? Deal being is like, I said, well, I'm already here. The car's running. And maybe this will be a great story. How I took this jalopy all the way to Toledo, Ohio. And I ended up getting the jukebox and coming back. Well, that's only half the story. Because that's not the way it turned out. So I'm driving all the way to Toledo, and about halfway to Toledo, the car's vibrating, shaking, and one of the control arms just it disengaged. So I felt like the tire just wobbly, and I'm on this expressway stuck. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen now? And you know what? Thankfully, I had my AAA card, and it was a blessing, because I called them up. The guy came out. He put that jalopy van on top of his truck, and he drove me all the way to the house, back to my dad's. I dropped off his minivan, and I said, never again, man. I'm not gonna go on the cheap. So I called the guy, told him, look, man, my vehicle broke down, and I'm not gonna be able to buy this jukebox off you today. He says, don't worry about it. I'll hold on to it. I'll give you another week. If you get it, you get it. And I said, great. So, I was kind of upset about that. Just the whole ordeal. Here I lost, here I drove my dad's van. Dad broke down, and now I had to offer him, hey, I'll put money in the vehicle, and I'll pay for the damage to the car. But my dad was a prince, and he said, don't worry about it. I should never have taken that car the way it sounded. He's happy with it. And my dad will hold on to junk. So, I don't know. I would have got rid of that car 100,000 miles ago, that minivan. So the next week, I ended up going to Enterprise, and I rented a truck. I ended up rented a real nice, pickup truck. Drove to Toledo, no headache, no stress, no fuss, no muss. Picked up the jukebox, brought it back, and that was it. It cost me a couple $100, but the thing is, I actually used my my AAA card. Got a little discount on the price of the rental, And the thing about the AAA card, they offer a bunch of discounts for travel. If you want to take a cruise, if you want to rent a car, they offer you these incentives, or not incentives, but these benefits at getting a discount on your on the price that you'd be normally paying. If you go, you get a restaurant deals. So to me, that's a pretty valuable card to have. And the thing is that, and the way things are, the way they're priced, everything's expensive. I mean, you need something. I mean, even if it's for a couple dollars. I mean, we're not rich people. We're average blue collar people, and any advantage we can get is a great advantage. So I highly recommend that AAA card because it saved my butt twice. And I have one more tow left until it renews again next year. But I'm driving a decent car now, and I don't have any fear that we're going to have a problem again, or I don't anticipate any problems. But if a problem does arise, I do have my AAA membership. I will call it if I need it. And if I'm going to be going to Vegas this week. I'm going to look at my card, my membership benefits, to see if there's anything, any discounts that I could get while I'm out there. But the point is about these membership companies, you still got to do your due diligence. You still got to do your shopping. Sometimes they'll say, hey, we're giving you 20% off of here, 50% off of that. But then, make a phone call that place up, find out what it would cost, see what your benefit is, see if it actually is a benefit. Because sometimes some of these discounts, I'm not saying AAA in general, but I'm saying some of these companies that offer these discounts, sometimes they look like a discount, but sometimes they're not. So you kind of got to just know that there might be a discount there, but you got to ferret it out. You got to figure out if it is a discount or if it is a benefit that you're going to benefit from. It offers a bunch of more benefits, like with insurance. You could get a rate for your car insurance. It has something to do with finances as well, credit cards. So it has a lot of benefits, a lot of offers. And I would say, when you're out and about in your vehicle, you don't know what's gonna happen. It's always the other guy when you're driving. You could be a great driver, but some moron could bash into you, or you could hit a pothole, or something could happen. And the thing is that, you get kind of messed up when something happens, because you're like disoriented, because now you gotta have a plan. You're in a crisis, and now you have to have a set plan that's going to get you out of there. And that's what I'm saying. When you have that card in your pocket, you whip out your card, you call the 800 number on the back for roadside assistance, and then it goes on your phone to give you updates. It actually locates where you're at. So if you could be in the middle of the boonies, like if you call a regular tow truck, and you don't really know where you're at, giving directions is, let's face it, sometimes we're driving and if we're driving somewhere we're not familiar with, we really can't give good directions. So that adds to the stress. That adds to the mental stress of not knowing where you're at, and then having to convey that information to some tow truck driver. Well, at least with AAA, they locate you right off your cell phone. They said, and then they give you updates like, we're going to be there, the driver's going to be there in 30 minutes. Driver's going to be there in an hour, depending on what's going on, depending on what time of day, depending on where you're at. And the thing is that, for me, it's definitely peace of mind. There's other travel clubs, but this is the one I'm talking about because this is the one that I belong to. And as far as insurances, you can get tows with your insurance company if you have full coverage and so forth. But for me, I drive jalopies to work, because I work in some places where you don't want to take a brand new car because you'll end up with a greasy residue, or it's just I work in heavy industrial, so I don't want to submit my car to a heavy industrial environment. So yeah, I'll drive a jalopy to work. It's 4 wheels and a heater. That's the kind of beater that I need, and that's what I got. And my all about town car. Right now I'm in transition. I will be buying a new car. Maybe I'll do a little video on that when I get the new vehicle that I'm going to get. It'll be a surprise on what I get. But for what I'm driving right now, it's getting me around. And if it goes down, at least I have the confidence, or I have the security of the fact knowing that I can call my AAA, and I can get picked up, I can get dropped off, and it's just a good feeling to have, and it's a good card to keep in your wallet because you never know what could happen. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side. I hope this information was useful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.